Hey, fourth graders, how are you today? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Okay, so we are going to continue in our Nature's Fury theme. And here's a new story I'm going to read to you today. And we're going to talk about point of view and then do a little activity on that. So, this is an article or a story, whatever, written by Simon Winchester. And it's from his point of view. So it's first person point of view. And again, it's nonfiction, it's true. So I'm going to read it and then we're going to talk a little bit about point of view. So, Unexpected from When the Earth Shakes by Simon Winchester. It was early evening in the southern hemisphere in September 2010 when I felt it strike. I was in a hotel room in Christchurch, New Zealand. I was walking across the room when, without warning, the floor suddenly lurched up and then seemed to slope downward, forcing me to half run, half stumble across to the corner by the door. All the glasses on top of the counter tumbled off with a sound like a crystal waterfall. The television slid and listed dangerously for just a second before the floor righted itself, tilted the other way, and then settled back into a comforting horizontal position. Sorry. For a moment, everything was quiet, and then a wolf howl of sirens went off outside. I opened the curtain and saw waves of dust rising in the glow of street lamps. It was as if the earth was a rug and something had given it a good shake. I heard breaking glass, car alarms, and yapping of anxious dogs, and then silence once again. I sat on the hotel bed and dialed down to the front desk. "Felt that one, sir, did ya?" said a cheerful voice. "About a magnitude 5, I say." "Nothing to worry about. This hotel is designed for a much bigger hit than that. But wait a minute. Are you bothered, sir?" "No," I said. "I wasn't bothered. It was just that what I had experienced was so unexpected." "Your first time, is it? Well, you have to understand. That's the thing about earthquakes, sir," said the receptionist. A fellow I now remembered, a large young man, a rugby player. He had told me when I checked in. You just never know when to expect them. And that indeed is the thing about earthquakes. You never ever know. The three types of catastrophes that are caused by violent movements within the earth: volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and earthquakes, were all, until recently, especially devastating because they were completely unpredictable. Okay, here's a little bit about this Simon Winchester. And that's one thing I wanted to cover also is make sure when you are reading something that you look at everything on the page. Okay, so here we have a picture of this guy and a little kind of a biography about him. Simon Winchester started off as a geologist, an expert on Earth's structure. Later, he became a writer. However, Winchester never lost his fascination for Earth. Winchester has written many books on nature's fury, topics such as earthquakes and volcanoes. Okay, then we've got some other graphics and some captions that you need to make sure and read. So this says destruction from the 2012 earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand. So you can see the devastation. And then up here is Australia, and this is where New Zealand is. So that just gives you a little bit of a graphic of where it is. Now, this happened to him in 2010. So the picture down below is from 2012. So we can kind of infer that are there lots of earthquakes down there in New Zealand? Okay, we don't know for sure, but 2 years apart. So, all right, so I want to talk a little bit about point of view, and then you're going to do an assignment on that. So point of view is the point of view of the story. Who is telling the story? Well, in this article, you know it's Simon Winchester. Okay, he experienced it. It comes from him. The other point of view is third person. That is somebody totally outside the story telling the story. So in your assignment today, you are going to find something that you have read and you're going to change it from one point of view to the other. So in this one, I'm going to just do this part of this article and I'm going to change it as if I was telling this story about Simon's experience. Okay, so I'm going to change it. So if you remember, first person, you see a lot of I, me, my, we, us. It includes the person telling the story. Third person, you use a lot of he, her, his, hers, they, them, their, because I'm talking about somebody totally different. So I'm going to reread this story, this first part, um, and making it third person. So kind of pay attention to some of the words that I change. Okay. It was early evening in the Southern Hemisphere in September 2010 when Simon Winchester felt it strike. He was in a hotel room in Church Christ, New Zealand. He was walking across the room when, without warning, the floor suddenly lurched up and then seemed to slope downward, forcing him to halfway run, half stumble across to the corner by the door. All the glasses on top of the counter tumbled off with a sound like a crystal waterfall. The television slid and listed dangerously for a second before the floor righted itself, tilted the other way, and then settled back into a comforting horizontal position. For a moment, everything was quiet, and then a wolf howl of sirens went off outside. Simon opened the curtain and saw waves of dust rising in the glow of street lamps. It was as if the earth was a rug and something had given it a good shake. He heard breaking glass, car alarms, and yapping of anxious dogs, and then silence once again. Simon sat on the hotel bed and dialed down to the front desk. Okay, so kind of see the difference? So when you have a story like this, and it's first person, you really get to feel what that person is thinking, how he's feeling, and what he's saying. When it's third person, it's somebody outside of the story. So many times you won't get that feeling of how that person was really feeling. So first and third person, for one, make sure you know the difference between the two, because that's what you're going to do in your assignment today. But also, first person, you really, really get to know the character and the person better, or the people better, because of what you get to know what they're thinking, feeling, things like that. Okay, so now what you are going to do is in today's schedule, you're going to do this seesaw lesson, and it's this point of view right here. So you'll have to go into seesaw. Now, what you are going to do, you have to pay attention here. And then if you don't remember, either come back to this video or read the directions well. There's even instructions right here, so you can watch that video. So you are going to go into Epic and find a book that uses third person point of view, okay? I don't care if it's an easy book, as long as you just find a third person point of view. So obviously you're not going to find an autobiography, but and you can find a first grade book or a second grade book. I don't care. Okay, you're going to read the book. You can read the book to yourself, read it out loud to somebody else. Determine the point of view the story is being told from. Okay, make sure it's third person. So third person is he, she, them, they, their. You're going to see a lot of those words. Choose one paragraph from that story and take a screenshot of that page. Now, I think on your Chromebooks, I think it was the control and then like above number 7 or something, it would look like a little movie camera or something like that. But if you're not sure, let me know or go on to Google it. Okay, so you're going to take a screenshot of just one page, upload the Seesaw app in the point of view assignment. Well, that's all what you have to do is here. Highlight the clues on how you identified the point of view, and then record yourself retelling the story in first person point of view. So like I just did with that story, Unexpected, you are going to just reread the story, and you're going to change the words from they, them, their, um, her, he, to I, me, my, we. Okay? So find a book in Epic. You're going to do this, add your response to this, and then upload that story and record yourself retelling it in first person. Okay, any questions, please let me know.